Crank it up and hello, Hilda.
You'd get Hilda. Instead of walking down there, you could get her from Giffen's store.
Did you have, what did you do for water and heat and light in your home?
Well, we used to get our drinking water from across the street at the section house. They had a
Steal
great,
water out of my well.
great well over at Brusnick's there, and a lot of people in town used to get water from that well. And there was no such thing as sewer, so lots of outdoor biffies. And like I say, used to slop the pigs, and if you had them, but
What do you use for lights?
we had the coal oil, and then later on we got the natural gas, or the high test gas lamp with the mantles. Whoa, was that something? But we still have our coal oil lamp at home that we used back in the 40s. And
Where did you buy the, was it kerosene
Coal
or
oil.
coal oil?
yeah, we used to have to go up. I remember going up on my bike to Wickman's. They used to have a 45-gallon drum with a pump in it. We'd go, we'd have a gallon can, we'd go up there. And I remember in later years when the Wickmans moved away and Dorothy was working at Mike's newsstand in Edmonton. And I went in one day and she was working at the counter, and I walked up there and she says, "I'll be right with you, sir." And I says, "That's okay, I just had a question for you, ma'am. Do you sell coal oil here yet?" She looked up and took her back a few years, and she told me to get out. But yeah, that was good old coal oil days. That's all there was.
Did any of your family serve in the armed forces?
Yeah, I had a brother, Richard. He joined up in, I guess, 1939 or 40, and he spent 15 years in the Army. He's
15.
Yeah, he was a cook. He ended up as a cook in he was over in the United Nations in Middle East, and then he went to Korea. He was in
Was he in the war? If he was in 39, did he go
Yeah, he was
to
in
the
Second
war
World War.
yeah.
He was joined up when he was 17 with a whole bunch of other guys around here, my cousins and that. They all lied about their age. Got in when they were 17, and yeah, and then they got out in what was 44 or 45, and then he stayed in.
Did he see any battle? Like, do you know that, like...
No, he wasn't on the front lines. He was a truck driver over in England and running supplies to the front lines, but he never got in any. And then after that, he took up cooking. He got a chef's ticket, and he used
The Army trained him.
Army trained him, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was the only. My dad was in the First World War. He got injured. He had shrapnel from a hand grenade in his. He had a war pension over that.
Are there any special memories that you have of Wabamun that really stand out in your mind? Something very important that happened, like
Well, when I was in grade 9, I guess, TransAlta or Calgary Power at that time came to town and bought some property up west of Wabamun, and they were going to build a big power plant there. So I was in grade 9, and I heard that Mr. Featherstone had a contract for brushing the trees for the power plant there, and he had some cats there and guys with axes and that. So I thought, I was a pretty big boy then, I thought I could go to work. So I come home and told my mom that I was quitting school to go work for Mr. Featherstone, brushing up here for the TransAlta plant, and then maybe I could get a job at the plant later on. And it didn't work. I had to go back to school. But that was, and after that, yeah, I ended up working at the power plant, but I got on construction, and as a lot of the other fellas in town did, and stayed here, and as a result, spent all these years in Wabamun, and we bought, me and my wife bought some valuable property up west of the power plant there on the hill. We paid $25 for our plots up there, so we don't wanna give up on all of that property. It's pretty valuable. So.
Oh, when you said you lived on a farm in
Duffy.
Bad Lake, did you have any animals there? Do you grow crops or anything?
Yes, yeah, they had a small quarter section. My dad, through the army, when he got out of the army, he was allowed a quarter section of land, a homestead, so they cleared that. And he also logged on the Saskatchewan River, driving logs down to the high level bridge there. But yeah, they had, well, he had cattle and chickens, and that's things all they had. But I remember he used to shoot a lot of deer to keep the 8 mouths going down there.
Did you have any crops? Like, did they plant any crops, like
Yeah, they had-
wheat or?
They had oats. I think they had oats to feed they had horses. He had a team of horses. But back in those days, I remember, like, my dad never drove, never ever owned a vehicle. He'd pack a lunch, and he'd walk all the way to Edmonton, and he'd go in and get close to Stony Plain. He'd walk there, and some of the farmers from out there were going in with a wagon, and they'd offer him a ride. And the horses were trotting, and they'd pass him by, and then no thanks, no, that's okay. And he said he'd get to Stony, and here they're all bogged down in that muskeg on the west side of Stony, corduroy in the road, and he'd walk right by, and they'd have a good day, and he'd beat them dead and walk. But he used to walk everywhere, and all the old timers did, just no vehicles.
After you finished school, where'd you work?
I got out of school, and I worked for OK Construction up here for a couple summers, driving gravel truck. I worked in the sawmill for Vanderwell Construction up in Slave Lake in the wintertime, and then I got on working building a power plant, labor for TransAlta, and from there I got to know the superintendent pretty good, and me and another fellow used to make ice at the rink down here, and Mr. Hawkins' team played there, so we made sure that he had good ice and warm shacks there, and it ended up pretty good for us because he offered us a job when the power plant was built. So I got on with TransAlta and been there ever since. I retired with TransAlta for 37 years
What year?
in '98.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your family, your marriage and
Yeah,
children?
married a Ukrainian girl from Vegreville. She made the mistake of coming here to see the Brusniks, I guess. She worked for Mrs. Brusnik owned or run the cafe in the hotel that they had bought, and Phyllis Burak was her name, and she came out to work for Mrs. Brusnik, and a lot of parties going on around town here, and I was 17, 18 years old, and I took a shine to this little Ukrainian girl and found out she could cook, and her dad ended up having a restaurant in town here too, so I thought that'd be a good family to get into, and lots of money, so she'll kill me if she hears this. But anyway, yeah, and then we had 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, Laura, Bonnie, Josh, and Troy, and they all went to school in Wabamun, and bused to Stony Memorial, and all graduated. Oh, except Troy, he got his grad picture, but he never graduated. Short a couple subjects like the old man. But I went to school in Seba for high school, grade 10 and 11. And but anyway, Wabamun has been good to me and my family, and we run the school bus for 17 years here, and local hardware store for another 10 or so, I guess it was, and still here, retired and volunteering whenever we get a chance,
And you'll die here.
and we will die here.
And
Yep.
what did you do after your retirement in the village?
Oh yeah, we went. Oh
He was the mayor.
yeah. Mayor Lindsay decided he wanted to go for provincial politics, so left the vacancy as mayor, and so I got me and another fellow. We decided to put our name in the hat for running, and got into local politics for a while, and was mayor for a couple of years, and then council for a total of 6 years altogether. But that was a good experience, and now we're with I work with the seniors quite a bit, the thrift store, and help out wherever we can. And yeah, lead a pretty good life.
We did those.
No. Any other thoughts or anything else you want to say, Larry?
Oh, lots of memories there, but maybe we just
That's enough.
Funny ones we want. Funny things that happen.
Funny
you know?
stories, yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
they never get put into a book.
He's scared they'll put him in jail if they find him saying it.
No, they don't.
No.
not that should do it for now.
Okay.
I'll have to come up with some
Okay.
stories later.
All right. We'll stop.
Add on.